Hey guys, this is Megan with Dash Planner. I hope you've been having a wonderful start to the new year so far. I've been getting some requests lately asking to show more examples of the planner, so real life examples and some planning inspiration. So I thought this would be a good chance for us to sit down together and flip through my planner from last year. So starting at the index, we have my sections. And if you watched my setup video that I did back in last January, these are the ones that I set up in that video. I have one for Dash Planner, one for personal, one for family and household, things around the house, and a miscellaneous section. And I'll be going through these a little bit later in the video. But right next to my index, I went ahead and pasted in a checklist page. So you can find this under the notepaper dashboard, and it is this one here, the checklist with the 8 blank checklists. So I copied this and pasted it in right here, and then I used the text tool to label a few of the lists. So what I used this for was like a basic brain dumping page. So anything that was weighing on my mind, kind of stressing me out, I went ahead and made these kind of bucket categories and then just dumped everything down in there. And this is a really good trick to, if you have, so many things going around in your head and you just want to see them in front of you, this is really helpful. So starting with January, I'm just going to start by flipping through some of my weekly layouts. So something that I did in this free space right here was create these task lists. This is something that I do once a month with my monthly newsletter and monthly freebie. So I just typed out this list. I created these dots with the highlighter tool. I can show you that real quick. And that's just a dot. So I did that, and then I took it a step further and selected this and added it to elements. So that way, when it comes time to do my newsletter again, I can just go over here and then paste in the checklist so I don't have to rewrite it over again. Something I also like to do sometimes is split up my task list. So these are kind of work tasks, and then these are personal tasks, and that way it kind of keeps it sectioned. This sticker here is part of the labels that are included with the planner, but I went ahead and made my own customizable one as well. And I did this by using the text tool. So if you just open the text tool, write in your text, and then you go into the text box settings and you select a background color. Now to get it to match the stickers, what you can do is go to the index page and go to the color codes, locate the color, copy the color hex code, and now when you go back to that page, select the text box. Now in background color, you can paste in that hex code and it'll match the stickers. You can extend the box, which will reshape the label. You can choose if you want your text to be left or center aligned. And you can also change the text within the text menu. And there you have a custom label. Something else I like to do is use the included icons and then just use the text tool to kind of create a sticker. And then this I can actually select and then add it to elements. And then that way, every time I have a chiropractor appointment, I can just locate the sticker and paste it in. So at this point, I was getting really into my weekly planning. And then around the 30th of January, my daughter was actually born. So if you have had a newborn, you know how life totally changes. So I went from planning very consistently to pretty much just living hour by hour. And I did not keep up with the weekly planning much after that. However, I did use the monthly calendar, and that was a way to kind of just mark some important things like doctor's appointments, anything that was happening that I just kind of wanted to make note of. And then also using the overview page. This was super helpful to just be able to jot some things down, check in with how I was feeling, make note if there was anything that I felt I was kind of lacking, like exercise, stuff like that. And this was a really good way to kind of just check in. And then also doing the monthly review was super helpful too. And it just helped me to kind of, take a moment and reflect on everything that's happened, just because those first few months were a total blur. Also, this little progress review section here was really helpful to just kind of make note of how I was feeling about certain areas. Like, I didn't set any goals for last year. My goal was just to kind of just figure out motherhood and spend as much time as I could with my daughter. So that was something that I put down there. And just doing little things like daily walks, light yoga, stuff like that. Same thing with March, just kind of kept it simple, but used the calendar to make note of certain things. Same with the overview page. I actually don't use the finance or the trackers at the moment, but the review page is super helpful. Just like I said, just to check in and see how I'm doing. April was when I started to kind of ease back into working. And by working, I mean putting out products. So what I did on the monthly page was using that technique that I mentioned earlier. I created these labels. How I do my work with Dash Planner is I kind of assign each week to a different area. So like the first week of the month, that is when I do the newsletter and monthly freebie. I always have a new product, some sort of video. If I have to do any updates to the website, I can plan those out. So having these little labels here help me to kind of decide, okay, this is the week that I do product, this is the week we do video and stuff like that. And that's really cool because then I can copy and paste these from month to month. Now around May-ish, that's kind of when I started to get back into my weekly planning routine, but it was still kind of hard for me to get into using the overview page just because things were so sporadic. But what was super helpful was using the preview review page. In the 2023 planner, I renamed it the weekly prep page. But that was super helpful because I just couldn't get myself to fully get into weekly planning yet. But being able to kind of just check in with, okay, what's going on with work, what's going on with friends and family, around the house, things I have to do. And then also kind of journaling and just checking in. So that was super helpful. Just a way for me to get back into planning. I often get comments and emails from you guys saying, I feel so guilty. I haven't used my planner in a little bit. And I just want to say, right now, you have my permission to leave some pages blank. That's the thing about planning is I think we kind of go through seasons of life where it's just not going to happen. We can't sit down and plan every little detail. And I think that's okay. So if you're kind of struggling with that, take your time, come back to it, maybe assess what's not working. Is it that you don't have enough time? Is it that your planner is not the best fit for you? Kind of figuring out those things can help you figure out, what's missing. Another question I do get is if you can delete pages that you don't use. And while you technically can, I do kind of caution against it a little bit because it's really easy to accidentally delete something that you might want back. Now, because this is a digital planner and it's not paper, it's really not taking up any physical space. And because you really navigate through it mostly through the hyperlinks, I find it really easy just to kind of ignore big chunks of pages that I'm not using. Like in my case would be like the daily pages. But if you're finding yourself getting overwhelmed with planning or you're just getting started and kind of want to ease into it, I think a great place to start is the monthly calendar. Because you could technically do your weekly and daily planning right here on the calendar. And it's just a good way to kind of see everything at a glance without getting too zoomed in on everything. And then if you find yourself wanting to be a little bit more intentional and detailed, you can use like what I did, which was just use the weekly preview prep page. And then if you want to go from there, and that's when you can use the overview breakdown as well. So you'll see around November, I was feeling a little bit festive and added some of these fall stickers. And then December was simple too. And that's what's so great about the Dash Planner is it's meant to be simple. You can keep it simple or you can, have fun and add stuff if you'd like. So taking a look at the sections, Let's go ahead and look at the Dash Planner section. So this is my work section. So what I did was I actually copied the monthly or the yearly overview page, just duplicated it, pasted it in here. And so that way I had a yearly content calendar where I can mark the products and the freebies that I plan to release. Here's also that checklist note paper page that I used earlier. And I use this to come up with these categories for different products that I would like to work on. There's also a few like kind of random nagging tasks that I have to do on my Etsy website, YouTube, stuff like that. So this is also helpful to have this kind of overarching checklist. In the personal section, something that I wanted to do was kind of revamp my wardrobe, especially because a lot of my clothes don't really fit me the same anymore. So what I did is I kind of just researched the internet, found some clothes that I felt matched my style, and then I pasted them onto this page. So that way, if I was ever out shopping, I can kind of, oh, hey, I was looking for a pair of black flare pants. And then I would, add them to my collection, do a little check mark if I got them, stuff like that. I also marked my measurements because when you're shopping online, sometimes it's helpful to have those at a glance. And what's cool is because I labeled them as measurements, I can actually search this page. So if I just opened the search bar, typed in measurements, it would pull up this page so that I could locate them really easily. In the family and household section, so something that came up that was kind of unexpected was that we are in the process of buying a house. And so with that, there was a lot of research, a lot of things we had to plan out. Part of the reason why we're getting a new house is so that I can have a bigger studio to run Dash Planner. My husband also works from home, so he needs a separate office as well. So what I did was some of the houses that we were looking at, I downloaded the floor plans, and then that way I was able to kind of figure out where everything would go to see if that would be an option for us. So here's some examples of that. And we were also looking at some spec homes, which had all the finishes picked out. So I went through the catalog and it was just text. And I was like, okay, that's not really helpful for me. I need to see what these things look like. So I went through and painstakingly located the images and pasted them all one by one. Tedious and crazy, I know, but it was super helpful for me to kind of see if those were going to be options for us as well. Around the house, these are some mood boards that I created. This was for the office update that I started a while ago. I haven't touched it too much, but I wanted to keep these here just for reference. This is for the herb garden that I still have not done. Something we did was kind of update our living room a little bit. And like I said, I'm a very visual person, so I had a hard time picking out side tables to go with our couch. So I pasted in the images from the internet of some potential side tables, so that way I could see how they looked with the new couch and lamps as well. Diving in even deeper, I wanted to update some of our couch pillows. And I had the hardest time making them all look cohesive. So I really like formulas. So I kind of looked up, what's the perfect formula to your couch pillow combinations. And then I laid that out here and then kind of tried to pair some things that I felt would work for the new couch. And that was actually very helpful. Also still on that living room project, we have this big blank wall here. And I decided that I wanted to put these mirrors, but I wasn't sure how they would look. So this is just me I drew these up to see how they would look in this space. You see if we wanted to put a bench there. So that's also a great thing about a digital planner notebook is that you can, paste in photos directly from your phone and then pull images from the internet and kind of see everything all together. And surprisingly, I didn't use my miscellaneous section, so this is left blank. So that was just kind of a brief flip through of my planner for the year. Sorry it was nothing too exciting. Like I said, it was kind of a different year for me, so I didn't get to utilize the planner as much as I would have liked. But 2023 will be a new year. I'm still setting up my planner for the new year. So that said, if that is something you would like to see, maybe like a setup video of the new planner, go ahead and let me know in the comments. And if there's anything else you'd like to see a video on, please let me know as well. And until next time, Happy planning.